Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of the Watchpoint Post Show live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. Also, happy Mother's Day to everybody. You've heard me say it many times. Anyways, guys, I'm your host, Malik Forte, joined as always by Zoe, Bryn, and Josh. Guys, they did it!
They did it!
That was in shock. They pulled it off. Put a ball on stage too, baby.
Pulled out the shock-themed confetti as well for the,
for the occasion.
Oh, yeah.
Vancouver also got the shock-themed confetti last stage.
What an unreal finals, though. Again, like, this is just phenomenal. Like, Monte Cristo says that the Overwatch League is not an anime. I'm sorry, mate, but this is just evidence against it. Like, the redemption arc that's coming in, the revenge coming in from San Francisco Shock. It's just, I'm drained emotionally, honestly, from the end of this. It's just fantastic.
It was so good, yeah.
It really was.
And it's really set up like a rivalry between these two teams now as well. The Vancouver didn't win the second time around. Now they're going to be looking for revenge in Stage 3 in the playoffs. Like, it sets everything up for the rest of the season, too.
Bro, they looked angry. They looked angry. But guys, let's put a ball on Stage 2. It's a wrap, and the San Francisco Shock are our Stage 2 champions. But guys, it was such an amazing day. So let's go ahead and jump right into what you guys learned today.
What did I learn? I think I learned that Sinatra is an actual god. That's just it.
Yeah.
His tracking is insane. I've not seen that since actually ever, and I can't believe how it looks like his like cross thingy is actually glued to the opponent.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Crosshair.
Cross
Yeah,
thingy.
crosshair.
Yeah, crosshair.
Crosshair, yeah.
Okay, this is my fifth language, everyone. I'm trying my best.
You can say aim and reticule. Yeah,
The cross thingy.
Because
There
you've
we
been
go.
playing games longer than all of us, and you forgot the word for crosshair, but I love that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't usually speak in a different language when I'm playing games.
But no, I have to agree with you, so he's definitely godlike,
Thank you.
for sure. What about you, Brent?
Man, oh man. I mean, this just gets put on me every time, and I don't know what to say. But I will say this. In the pre-show, I talked about Violet and how this is a big challenge for him and an opportunity for him to prove himself as an undisputed, probably the best flex support currently in the league.
Yeah.
We always talk about Twilight. We always talk about Jonak. Violet kind of falls to the wayside when it comes to a lot of these discussions. Right now, after that win, I don't think anyone's disputing it. I mean, he was the player of the match. You know,
Yeah,
this guy played unreal. A lot of these clutch moments, he was getting a lot of the entry kills as well for them. It's just a phenomenal player all around. And I think as well, he's got over the biggest weakness of his was always it felt like he was always weaker on stage in these big, tense moments a lot of the times, and it feels like he's cleaned that up now. This experience under his belt has helped him. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player even into the future.
No choking today for Violet. I agree with you on that one too, Brent. What about you,
I think what I've learned is that throughout, when you kind of look back at Shock Stage 2, they really have developed. Like, looking at them today and contrasting that to their Stage 1 finals, it's not just that they won. It's very easy to say that they improved because they won, but just what they were able to take advantage of, the minimization of their own mistakes, the speed at which they react to things, the amount of pressure they were putting on Vancouver. They looked in control of this series, whereas they didn't look like they were in control the whole time of the previous one. The development from this team has been spectacular, even just throughout Stage 2.
I can see what you're saying. It looked like they were not on the defense as much this time around as they were the last time, indeed. Well, the Stage 2 finals was a rematch of the Stage 1 finals, but could the Shock change the result, or would the Titans repeat? Coming out of the gate, the Shock showed they were trying to rewrite the script. Right from Lijiang Tower, they looked like they were ready to play. The mental fortitude, the resilience, the passion. These guys came out firing on all cylinders in this matchup.
It was a game of up and downs, it felt like as well. I mean, the opening of this, I think we all commented, the very opening of Lijiang, that Shock, they looked a bit uncertain in a lot of their gameplay, but they cleaned up very nicely as this map progressed as well into Lijiang. Cleaning up into 2 rounds, not even giving the Titans really a chance to even come back into it when it comes to it. So it's just, again, cementing just how potent
Their
this team
focus
are.
fire was so on point. I love listening to them. When we get to listen to them during those big clutch moments, their comps are so clean. It's so set. It's just so well coordinated. And again, like the focus fire was just absolutely on point.
Yeah, it looks like almost the difference between the Titans, who are like a hive mind. They don't have to communicate as much. They have all of that experience playing with each other, and it's all done via intuition. And then the San Francisco Shock are very much about planning. They know what the strategy is. They come in very prepared from their coaching staff. They always have a game plan going into every fight. A lot of communication from everybody on the team. It's interesting to see these two styles conflict. Today, it was definitely preparation that won out.
And this is something that we need to talk about as well, because a lot of the time we forget give credit to Krusty a lot of the time, in fact. But there are 2 other coaches on this squad. They've got Jungbuck and also 9K as well behind the scenes. We don't talk about enough, honestly. Kind of stay behind the scenes a lot of the time, but they also have a big part in the reason why San Francisco Shock are as dominant as they are. And it comes down to
will you
playing
add
these
them to your
players
shrine?
quickly, right?
They are minor deities of the Church
Okay,
of Krusty.
nice.
Yeah, I think as well they've done a great job of making the players on San Francisco Shock smarter.
Yeah.
Bren, you were talking about it in our pre-show quite a lot, that these players have also improved and developed so much. And the trio in the front line of Super, Sinatra, Rascal, these guys are core communicators for the San Francisco Shock and also set up a lot of these plays. Honestly, Super and Sinatra heavily outplayed their opponents here.
Yep.
In terms of the individual
Maybe not on
matchups,
this
I
map,
thought,
but-
well, no, not on this map, actually. They got bossed. This was the one that was clearest in favor of the Vancouver Titans, which I think is interesting, actually. Before I go into that point about the front line, there do seem to be some holes in San Francisco Shock's map pool, which I wonder whether they'll be exploitable in the future. At the moment, it seems fairly even, but even like Monteador we're talking
Wow.
about, maybe the Blizzard World pick was a bit of a problem for Titans later on, because Eichenwald, potentially you'd expect them to be better there.
Yes, I'd also make the argument as well that Paris, though, the nature of the map as well, it's new. It's a little bit weird is the word I would use to describe the layout of it, the geography. I mean, the first point has high ground, defending advantage, and a big choke point, right? It's a weird map. It's designed very differently to a lot of other ones.
Take a look at the stats here of Bumper versus Super as well. I mean, final blows, yes, Bumper gets the upper hand, but that's because he's right at the front all the time, whereas Super shares it with the rest of his front line. But Earthshatter stuns, he was getting way more. And in terms of like his overall effectiveness, it was Super the whole way. The reason that the stats don't show as much dominance as you might expect is because they got plowed on Paris as well. Bumper just running into Super over and over and destroying him. But over the course of this series, the front line from the San Francisco Shock absolutely outplayed the front line from the Vancouver Titans, in my opinion. So Min-Soo was really getting picked off in a lot of key scenarios, and Super was just on point the whole series. Just no mistakes, perfect, flawless game from the Zarya player.
I mean, I feel like we can make a highlight reel just based off the front lines plays alone. But guys, after dropping the first map, the Titans came back to take the next 2. But let's see how the second half played out, starting with map 4 on Gibraltar. And I think this is where we start to see the San Francisco Shock really start to turn up the volume here in this matchup.
I'll be honest, when we were listening to them at the beginning of Gibraltar, they seemed a little bit down. But we were talking about this in our second halftime of the match. They picked it back up so quickly.
Right, it's the point I was making in the halftime, is that that's what separates good teams from the best, and that's the ability to come back, bounce back mentally in this game, and they did just that after being crushed on Paris. I mean, we can't underestimate how much that takes out of a team to be able to do that. I mean, how many teams are able to do that in the Overwatch League, realistically?
The thing is, we talked to them about this. They said you just can't show too much respect. As soon as you play a little bit more scared, you lose in the game. So they didn't play scared. They didn't show them any respect. They gave them zero room to play with. In fact, they were all up in their grills. They played more aggressive than what we've seen from them even prior in that series, and that was already very aggressive. And I think Vancouver Titans truly struggled because I don't think they have been facing off against a team which just, you know, went viral.
I completely agree. Yeah.
I don't even know where to end the sentence.
I know exactly where you're going with this. Like,
thank you.
It's the fact that they don't show them the respect that a lot of other teams do. This is a trap that a lot of teams fall into when they're playing against teams like NYXL, like the Titans, is that they get scared of them. This kind of overwhelming force that they're up against. You know, they see this massive win streak that they're on, and sometimes I think a lot of teams get in their own heads and they end up starting to play a lot more passive when it's realistically should be the opposite in a lot of scenarios.
The players in the comms, they just yelled at each other. I think it was Super taking the lead. They're saying, like, just be aggressive, just go in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, Vancouver Titans are not used to playing against a team that cycles aggression through their front line so perfectly. There's normally, it's between the Rhine and the Rhine, and that's kind of how Vancouver Titans play, but the San Francisco Shock push Sinatra so aggressively that he takes a lot of space off Super. So he can be able to relieve pressure from Super, then Choyobin and Rascal come in as well. And it was so difficult for Titans to be able to punish because they are clean at being able to make that work.
Well, you want to talk about a turn of events. It looked like San Francisco Shock were on the verge of being full held here at Blizzard World, but this ended up being the map that essentially clinched the series for them.
That was a clinch. Honestly, at the very end, I mean, Vancouver Titans came into the street phase there with a very good ult economy. They had the upper hand, and then just bit by bit, San Francisco draw out that fight and have some great clutch individual plays, which actually wins them.
Came back to the same question that we were asking. They were in a similar situation to this before. They were 3-2 in the Stage 1 playoffs. And it was the question of, are they going to get in their own heads? Are they going to let Vancouver Titans come back? That's a scenario in Blizzard World there when they pushed it in, a scenario where they could have essentially crumbled under the pressure. They didn't. They managed to hold strong.
It wasn't even that they didn't crumble as well. They unbelievably clutched the final fight. Vancouver Titans came in with 6 ults.
Six
Exactly.
ults.
6 ults, Brent, yeah. And Shock only had 1. They only had the Earth Shatter. They managed to sustain a bunch of ults, build up their own, and still win that fight. I mean, that is
Again, that was based on impeccable positioning. So Hyobin flanked from up there. Sinatra was up on the left. And then Bumper didn't really know where to go because he was pressured from Super in the front line and Joy and Sinatra came from the back. So that they really struggled to have a rotation there.
Could you guys say that it was a rare choke from the Titans, not winning that fight? 6 ults going in and not being able to pull off the victory in that?
Well, see, the weird thing is, I'm not even sure that the Vancouver Titans played that too poorly. I'm not, I would have to go and rewatch it, I think.
Right.
I was caught up in the emotion of the moment. But it didn't look like Vancouver Titans threw it away. It looked like unbelievable play from the San Francisco Shock. They're just so coordinated.
Crisis management to the highest level.
But it is bizarre as well. It's crazy to think, though. Let's reflect on the Vancouver Titans as a team, right?
Yeah.
Because this is an undefeated team for over a year. Overwatch contenders, moving into the Overwatch League. Hadn't lost a game in over a year, Monty hit on. And this is their first loss in quite some time. And you can see how hard it's hit them now. I think they came into the league with this mindset that they were just going to be dominant. They were going to be undefeatable.
Right.
And I think they've been shooken now to their core. Because like now they've got another competitor right now. The San Francisco Shock are competing with them. They've brought them to this level that I don't think a lot of teams have brought to them in quite some time.
Yeah, you know, I was making jokes before we went live that, you know, maybe NYXL softened them up a bit and yada yada. I don't think that. I don't really think that's the case. But I will say that I'm going to be saying a lot that I'm kind of scared of how the Titans are going to bounce back because we have not seen this yet for a long time, and it's going to be interesting to see. But guys, coming up, we'll dive deep, a little deeper, into our Stage 2 finals and take a look ahead at what's in store for both the Titans and the Shock. More Watchpoint post-show coming up.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
That was an extreme excitement there. I hope I didn't break the monitor through the headset there. Well, that's a well-deserved win for the Shock. It's a perfect way to cap off their goating stage. So, Zoe, I got to ask you, do you think that the Shock are the best team in the league right now after that win?
I honestly think even Sideshow would struggle to make a real good argument against them right now. They have been the most improved, no doubt about that. They have been having the most solid stage of any team ever in the Overwatch League. And now they took down a team which has been arguably one of the best teams in the world, not just in the league. They went undefeated for such a long time. and now the Shock took them down.
So I got a quick question for you now, Josh, because your main argument for
Yep.
Shock not being the best team in the league was that they were just dominating mid-table teams and it's a different skill set to go against the top. Has your opinion changed now on that?
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely agree with you. I think that the San Francisco Shock still had something to prove. And that thing to prove was that they could beat the top teams, like the NYXL, which they lost to in Stage 1, and like the Vancouver Titans, which they also lost to twice in Stage 1. Now that they've been able to prove that they can do that, I think it's only up from here for the San Francisco Shock. I think they've got a great mentality, great attitude. They still are a little bit behind Vancouver Titans in terms of the table, so it might still take a bit of catching up to do to be able to get there, because they seem like both of those two teams are going to dominate everyone else. So it might still be a while before Shock on paper are the best team in the league, but at least for now, it does look like, you're right, San Francisco Shock are the best at this moment.
They definitely got a body of work to build off of right now. And of course, with that big victory, there's a standout player. Josh, who stood out for you on the Shock today?
Well, I think, like the player of the match was, it's got to be Violet. I mean, this guy, like Brent was saying, is a potential best flex support in the entire league. He is a potential for Rookie of the Year, and that's what we thought coming into the league, is perhaps he might be Rookie of the Year. He was certainly my pick before we'd seen many games on the Shock. And he's somebody that was caught out a little bit when they played against the Dragons, caught out a little bit in the Stage 1 finals, played very clean here today. His Zenyatta is, I think, the best in the league, especially for this meta. It's fantastic. Now, he doesn't play very much Ana, and I think Twilight probably has him beaten there, but he certainly outperformed Twilight over the course of this stage so far, and certainly this match at the end here. And fantastic stats as well. His healing prioritization is really key as well. He manages to get a lot of value out of that, and a lot of value out of his transcendences. So I really like the way that Violet played in this match, and the team played around him as well. I think this is a fantastic kind of, not even ceiling, but a fantastic trajectory for a guy that is a rookie in the league.
Indeed, indeed. And guys, let's take a quick look at the Stage 3. Actually, no. You know what? I have a quick question I want to ask you guys about this matchup. So Vancouver, they had several opportunities to play that crazy comp that I was mentioning during halftime.
Yeah.
Do you think that possibly could have saved them during their attack on this in this matchup?
You only really tend to pull it out on point A when you're playing against Reinhardt compositions. And I think they were perfectly happy just playing their triple tank, triple support.
Yeah.
It wasn't the attack on point A that really lost it for them. It was how they were progressing through point B.
I think you need to remember as well, when you go all in on that composition, you're going to be switching to triple tank, triple support.
Right.
And you're going to be at an ultimate disadvantage against Shock, who can match you in that.
Right.
So you're just putting yourself at an inherent disadvantage. Sure, you'll take the first point, but when you have to switch off of that comp, I mean, it's only going to be downhill from there.
All right, for anybody who might have been asking why they're not playing the Hanzo in the fair, I thought it was good for us to get that out there. The experts, you've heard from them. But let's take a quick look at the Stage 3 schedule for the San Francisco Shock. And as you can see, they got the Reign, the Outlaws, the Dynasty. I mean, just look at the whole schedule. There's not many difficult teams on there. So, I got to ask you, do you think they have a chance at another golden stage?
They do. I think every one of them can be a W. I do think that some teams might be playing them a little bit closer than others. But overall, I think if they keep it up, if we're going to see the same thing we saw from the Shock today on stage, there is a real possibility in this very same meta that they can actually repeat a golden stage here.
All right. Well, on the other side of that match, of course, we had the Vancouver Titans. So let's take a look at what's in store for them in Stage 3. And again, they also have a pretty decent schedule. If you take away the Gladiators, who is going to be a difficult opponent, and the Fuel, two teams that made it into our stage playoffs, and they actually have the Gladiators twice. All the other games seem pretty much winnable for them. But Josh, I'm going to ask you, do you think that they can pull off another undefeated stage?
I think it's eminently possible. I think the Hunters might give them a little bit of trouble, because the Hunters in their previous matchup actually pushed them to 5 maps.
Oh, yeah.
And the Hunters seem to be doing, well, in terms of their record, they didn't do that well in Stage 2, but as a team, I think they've developed their style and kind of honed it a little bit. They've just become a little more predictable as teams have gotten used to them. The only other team in there that should give them too much trouble is the Gladiators, I think. And actually, the Gladiators didn't look like they were on the same level as these top 3 teams when we saw them in the playoffs this time around. So I'm feeling pretty good about both Vancouver and Shock. I think both of those teams should be looking to go undefeated, because every match matters to be able to overtake the other in terms of the overall standings. Both of these teams are in Pacific. Whoever gets that top Pacific spot at the end of the league is going to have the top seed for playoffs.
Right, right. So possibly we'll see another episode 3, stage 5.
I hope so.
Yeah, that could be pretty awesome. Well, of course, by now, you know who won. It was the San Francisco Shock. But let's take a look at the bracket that got us here. And man, the Shock they did it in dominant fashion all the way to the end when that hard-fought match against the Titans. Anything stand out for you guys in this bracket? Any teams that really disappointed you?
I mean, Spitfire for one. I got a point.
There you go.
Me too.
Again, I got to rant about these guys because it's inconsistency across the board is the name of their game, apparently. I mean, yes, you can peak at the right moments like they did last year in playoffs. Yes, they are the inaugural season champions, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I just feel very disappointed with Spitfire. I don't want to turn it too negative.
I'm kind of with you.
But I mean, Profit and Birdring, I expect a lot more from them. Gesture, I know, is a phenomenal player, and we just don't really see them shine too much.
Yeah.
So negative.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because they.
I'm with you.
I love them.
All right, so back at the start of this week, we here at the desk filled out our own brackets, and where we pretty much awarded 1 point for picking the winner of each match and a bonus point for getting the score right. So let's look who won our bracket, and it was Zoe. Zoe did it. She pulled it off. She was the best here at the desk. So congratulations to you. Let me give you okay, I'm gonna wait till we get back on camera to give you that. But your bracket was your bracket was clean. How did you do it, Zoe? Tell us how you do it.
So someone here is claiming to be an oracle. Someone
You
being
want my
Brent,
title?
and I just took it away from you.
So if you want my title, you have to get every
easy
prediction wrong and then claim you got them right.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got that confused because I just got every prediction right.
Oh, we're back on
straight
camera.
up.
There you go.
Did you
There
get
it
the
is.
prediction right? I think you went with Spitfire.
That's the celebratory
no,
confetti for you.
Okay, so Spitfire almost
come
ruined
from?
it, but Spitfire ruined it for all of us, so that's okay. Why are you guys getting confetti? I'm the winner here.
He should not
This
be.
is about me. you shouldn't be getting confetti. No, but I mean, yeah, London kind of threw all of our brackets off, except from yours. Yours was just straight up wrong from the
London
get-go.
completely killed my bracket.
Yeah,
I hope
it was gone.
I will say, though, to spin it to a slight positive for one of the teams that didn't make it through, the only two teams to take a map off the San Francisco Shock this entire stage were the Titans, who took 2, and Shanghai Dragons, who took 1. And so I think that's a very positive note for the Dragons moving forwards into stage 3. If they had not maybe matched up with the Shock for the first time around, maybe we could have seen them in the semis, or maybe even trying to pull off
That's
some
true,
crazy
but this is
upset.
about me getting things right. It's not about
That's true.
them playing great. Don't take us away from me, all right?
I do like that point about the Dragons, though. I think they're going to do some serious damage moving forward
Yeah.
in this season. But guys, today we saw the two best teams in the league facing off, and there were no shortage of top moments. But coming up after the break, we've got the best of the best. More Watchpoint when we get back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Stage 2 of the 2019 Overwatch League season.
Okay, let's go.
Boys, get hyped up, all right?
I can't wait to get this started, man. I think this is going to be a really, really fun one.
We'll see where it goes.
Is that Marshall Lynch?
This is hype.
Do you think you're the best wrecking ball in the league?
没错。
I'm here. I'm rocking. Perry, he fights for
off.
Big shatter!
That was a 5-man shatter from Buffer. I got a bad feeling about this one, Monty.
Was this a classic Charlie Niner?
I forced it, guys.
Nice one, folks.
It was all me.
Are you sure one last time we can't cut your mop?
Absolutely no. I've made up my mind. This is ridiculous that you keep asking me.
It can't be! It's Brennan the British Bull Cut Butcher!
Where is he?
Ah, I can hear it!
This is gonna haunt you for years.
I'm the global icon, national treasure. Golden Boy, welcome everybody!
The Valiants! They get the 0 off the board.
We won the game.
That is brutal. Urster just aced it.
Nice, Erster.
Oh, he's pinned out of the air. What? Well, they call him Swan for a reason.
Welcome to the Dallas homestand weekend. It is packed to the rafters.
EMP's gonna be coming out and finds all 6 of them. Dallas Fuel, they take it home.
Hey, tell the Donut fan to swap sides! Hey, swap sides!
They shut down NYXL again. The Shanghai Dragons have actually done it.
The Spartans secure the final spot in the playoffs.
For 5 weeks, the anticipation has been building. It is playoff time.
The Hangzhou Spark, unbelievable.
New York looking like a juggernaut.
The San Francisco Shock, they're moving on.
Vancouver Titans, just absolute dominance.
Vancouver Titans going back to the stage final.
San Francisco, we'll see you in our stage 2 final.
Stage 2 was so dope, yo.
This,
So
that
dope.
was one of my favorite content pieces that we've done. Shout out to
Is it because you're in it?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm in it, and the music was boss, and I stood on that stage, and I came out, and I cut hair.
You got to channel your barber roots, you know.
Exactly. My barber roots, my family come from a long line of barbers. Don't forget it.
That doesn't make you any good at it. That's not how that works.
I
Profession's
did
not
a
hereditary.
fantastic job.
You did as well.
Well, clearly, stage 2 was full of huge moments, and so was today. It's time for our most over-the-top moments of the day. Yeah, baby. And we're going to start off with the more heartwarming part of the day. The players' moms who showed up today. I was fighting tears when this whole bit happened earlier today. Zoe actually did cry
Yeah,
a little
thanks
bit.
for the call. It wasn't caught on camera, so I thought I'd get away with it. But
Nope.
that hit me right in the feels.
I
It's
thought
so
you were,
wonderful to have so many supportive parents, not just the ones we saw today, but time and time again in this audience. They're coming here with their kids and for their kids. It's beautiful.
Love you, moms. Love you all. Next up, we got Soman Suits. Unlucky
Oh, no.
Graviton that went through the little hole, the little crack in the ground.
What
You
a
don't see
yuck.
this often, but when it does
I've
happen,
never
it
seen
hurts.
it. I
It
didn't even know
stings.
there was a hole in the map right there, I'm going to be honest.
Look at that. There it goes.
Bye-bye.
That's
Off
brutal.
into space.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily it didn't affect too much. They capped shortly after this, but
Yeah, they still won. In fact, Choyobin uses his self-destruct defensively afterwards, just because he thinks it's gone out.
It's gonna hit.
He was like, oh, I didn't eat it. It must be somewhere.
Dang.
No, actually, I.
Super unlucky. I hate to see it. Next up, Super with the counter shatter that took out all the Titans. Man, let me tell you, Super had his 3D maneuver gear on today, man. He came to slay some Titans. He was going for the neck.
I'm not gonna lie, I was in the bathroom when this was going on, but I knew something big had happened because Monty was screaming.
It was so dope. Next up, Haksal with the boop on Paris. This was a steamroll by the Titans, partly because of this.
Yeah, I mean, this one was already over when they busted out the quad DPS. Still beautiful to see. Always a pleasure.
Love to see Haxel on something other than the Brig, even though he is fantastic at Brig as well.
Last but not least, the winning moment when the San Francisco Shock pulled off what many people didn't believe they could do. They beat the Vancouver Titans and won the Stage 2 title. And Vancouver's winning streak is over.
You're saying many people, as in, yeah, Josh.
Nah, come on. There were a lot of people that still had faith in Vancouver Titans as well. I mean, they were the number 3 seed coming into the playoffs, but they're undefeated since, I think, like June or July 2018. I mean, it's been so long since anyone's been able to beat this squad.
All right, well, you know what time it is, everybody. It's time for our Twitch cheerleader board. Brent, you're on the docket today.
Whoa! Atlanta Reign in number 1 with 4,000,151,613 bits. And counting.
That's the number.
Number 10, Soul Dynasty. Oh, wow, 1.8 million, eh? Oh, moving on. Phantom Map number 10, 25,500 bits. And number 4, Butcher with 54,100 bits. And next slide, please. I
I love it.
now.
Good job. Good job. That was a good way to cap off stage 2, our halfway point of the season. Speaking of Twitch, though, be sure to get your Overwatch League All Access Pass on Twitch, because coming up right after Watchpoint, you won't want to miss a live Q&A with the man, the myth, the legend, Monte Cristo, exclusively here with that All Access Pass on Twitch. Now, the stage 2 playoffs are over, so it's time to look back at the action with a bit of perspective in a segment that we like to call Hindsight.
All right. In hindsight, I learned that despite us, you kind of starting the rumor, I would say, or us, Bren starting the rumor, New York's playstyle is not outdated. It did match up impressively well, in fact, against the more aggressive teams. And that's something we weren't sure it's going to happen. They haven't really been tested to that extent, but they looked better than ever, and I couldn't have been happier to see it.
I believe my hindsight is, I'm not going to lie, once again, I may have forgotten it, but I think it was the San Francisco Shock were the most improved team and currently the best team in the world. And this is something that I was preaching it, but nobody really knew for sure until today. And today it was proven right. I was incredibly happy to see the guys upstage. You could see how much it meant for them as well. They were straight up in their chair. They broke a monitor, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, they were so pleased. I mean, there was so much on the line for those players in particular. Everything was leading up to this moment from 2018 onwards being built with this Shock roster. So the culmination of that, they are now the best team in the Overwatch League.
Yeah, it means so much to the coaches as well. Like,
Yeah,
across the different tiers. Okay, my hindsight for stage 2 is that I think focusing on improvement as well. Sinatra, I think, is the most improved player that we currently have in the league. The improvement from this guy going back from season 1, where he was all aim, no brain, and he kind of had this attitude of trying to solo carry everything, and he wasn't so much of a team player. Now, he is a stable player for the Shock. Very, very intelligent, minimizes his own mistakes, still got that incredible mechanical skill, a leadership figure within the team, emotionally stable. I mean, this guy has now got it all, and he's been such a boon for the San Francisco Shock. One of the major reasons that they were able today to take that victory and make a very, very solid claim for being the best team in the world right now.
What a difference a year makes. Jeez,
Yeah,
man, he's a completely different player this year, man.
Think back to 2018 as well. Like, again, he wasn't really on anyone's radar as much. There was a lot of hype with him coming into the league. Now it's finally paying off. This guy is an absolute star.
He was all stage fright and choking last year. Now he's MVP caliber. It's crazy. Well, guys, the stage 2 playoffs may be over, but the Overwatch action definitely isn't. We'll give a little preview of the All-Star festivities next week when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Welcome back to the Watchpoint Post Show. Here's a look at what's in store for the All-Star game coming this next week. Read off the schedule, shall I? All right, we got the Town Takedown. We got the Widowmaker 1v1, the All-Star Arcade, Then the Widowmaker 1v1 finals, which is going to be super hype, and then it all culminates the next day for the All-Star game, which is going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Me personally, looking forward to that talent takedown because it's a time where we get to beat each other's brains senselessly. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that.
We've been working on that already for weeks.
Yeah, you guys have been practicing,
we didn't
right?
Stop. Not yet. Not yet.
No,
I mean, we've discussed.
No, I
strategies.
actually have been practicing.
I mean, me too, but not with you guys.
I've managed to throw myself down to gold so that I have practice against the same caliber of opponent as we will when we face the Pacific team. So that's what I've been doing.
That was really good.
Well, if you guys didn't notice, the analysts at the desk here will be taking part in that talent takedown, so I figured we could give everyone a little preview of what to expect. So is there anything you want to say to your opponents? You can look straight at the camera. Let them know how you're feeling right now.
Put me on the spot. I don't know. What can I say without getting fired, right? That's where I'm at. No, I mean, seriously, this time I'm going to play with the fine gentleman next to me, which makes me slightly worried because that's probably increasing my chances of actually getting a loss. Not going to lie.
I've been there.
I'm sorry, I'm
time to talk to
undefeated.
your opponents.
I'm undefeated. I'm worried. No, but yeah, no, we're gonna defeat them. I mean, as you said, what are they?
Very
Gold?
tame.
Yeah,
Silver?
pretty much.
Gold, silver players.
All right, Josh, what about you? Or actually, Brent, we'll go down.
Yeah,
we'll go down
straight
the line.
down the middle. Where's my camera? Right here, baby. Let's go. Listen, what team am I on? Atlantic, I'm pretty sure. Pacific
Sure.
team.
Better
Again,
jerseys.
a lot of people don't realize this. I've seen a lot of news going around, a lot of false information. They seem to think that Wolf and Seth are Masters players in Korea. False. I'm pretty sure Wolf is actually in silver. He's been trying to work his way out of that. He's failing quite a lot. I don't know if he actually knows how to turn on his PC. Seth as well. I think he's barely scraping into platinum. I'm not going to lie. They're just tragic players at the game itself. They don't really have any sort of semblance and clue. They just know how to shout at a screen most of the time.
Oh.
I mean, I could go even deeper into this as well, into Mitch and Matt, if we really have a lot of time. I mean, again, I'll hold it off for now. All I'm saying is there's a nice little content pieces coming out. We listed all out on why the Pacific team are going to absolutely get smashed into the ground. Again, trying to keep it PG-13. Would like to keep my job. Just going to end it here. Josh, passed on to you.
Listen, all I'm saying is they picked the best broadcast talent to be on the show for the Stage 2 finals. They had us, Atlantic team. Monty and Doa casting, Atlantic team. The trash people are in the back somewhere. And those people are also going to get absolutely dominated when it comes to the game itself. I mean, we're just so much better than them as human beings, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Yeah. I love that we get to say all of these things and none of them is here to actually defend themselves whatsoever.
Woo. It's all right, though. They're not watching.
That's fair.
Yo, that was some spicy talk. Pacific team, you better watch out. So that's going to do it for us here on the Watchpoint Post Show. We'll be back tomorrow with the Wait, what? We're not coming back tomorrow. We'll be back. We have the All-Star game coming next week, so we'll be back next week for the All-Star game and the talent takedown you just heard about. That's going to be a great one. But for now, stick around for the Q&A with Monte Cristo on the All Access Pass, plus a replay of our Stage 2 finals right after that. Also, one time again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We'll see everybody next week.
It's Noah Epic, Cristo here. Epic music. Epic entrance for us, that's right. It's because it's all about us, right? But no, today, Monty, it's not all about us. In fact, today is Mother's Day. So before we go any further, let's take a moment on 3. You and I are going to look in the camera and say, thank you, Mom, I love you.
Okay,
Ready?
all right.
1, 2, 3. Thank you, Mom. I love you. Yes, it's true. So now that that's out of the way, guys, Overwatch, it's time for the Stage 2 finals.